Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny, Medicare App Backend's Node.js API inside. Today we need to developing this here the edit document we need to create as well as need to delete documents for the admin side. So need to developing this here the managing here the register time to doctors and medical shops. We need to need its documents list. We need to making here the admin sides. We need to list of documents. Now now we need to write down here the edit for first of all we need to create here the post REST API we need to developing here app dot post and we need to write down here the API slash admin and we need to write down here the edit document need to check here edit documents at times need to document list edit like need to common names need to set here edit. Otherwise, you need to give this here the document list updates like this. You need to set here the name API names. Here, returning this here the response. You need to get this here the two parameters. First one is the request parameters, and second one is the response for the servers. So, need to use this here. We need to use this here the short names request and response. And we need to first of all the print this here the helper.logs. We need to print here the logs for the request body. We need to print here and we need to identify easy to hears and then after need to save inside the request objects inside this value need to request dot body like here print and now need to access token verifications is most important part of this API because this is the admin API. That's why I need to checking here for the access token is valid or for this operations we need to checking here. So now need to check access tokens we need to call this here the API I need to pass this here the request dot headers we need to passing here give this here the response objects and to returning this here the callbacks. If here the valids, then to get this here the user data, need to returning this here for these callback functions. Need to write down like here and also need to check here the only for the access this API for the admin. Other user need to try to access then not work and to unauthorized access need to returning this here the server response and to terminate these calls API calls. Now, like this, we need to checking for here the edits and same as functions need to copy and paste. We need to use here for the deletes. We need to call here and to save this over times, not repeat again like here for the deletes API. This is the common structures we need to developing for the delete of the list. Need to given this here and now need to helper dot. We need to check here the parameters missing. We need to check here first of all the response we need to pass this objects now need to give this here the request object and now need to required parameters we need to needs here first of all we need to need this here the doc list id we need to pass these parameters here the doc list id doc underscore list underscore id then after we need to modify names we need to needs here we need to give this here the doc underscore name. Then after another parameters also need to need this here for these documents we need to needing here need to give this here the name is both we need to write down here is both documents needs means front sides and back sides might means here the both is we set here and also need to modify here the user types which user types need to need these documents need to required. That's why need to pass this here the user types also need to set here also modify here this user types user underscore type like years need to write down years and to set this years for these operations and need to change this here the status need to active inactive need to write down here the status is active parameters also need to pass here is active like this is parameters need to needs here add API inside one more parameters need to needs here to add document list id need to give because need to update specific these documents. That's why need to need this here the document list id and now need to if here the valids then to get this here the blank callbacks need to returning this here if not valid then to terminate this here the API calls and with to returning this here the message missing parameters in for the servers need to sending this message and to close these lines. Now This value are the settings are the turns, and to checking here turns with the parameters need to needs here. And most important parts need to also update this inside the database. My SQL database inside the update this records for specific this document list ID. Again, so need to updating this all informations. Need to first of all the creates here the db dot query. You need to write down here the functions. You need to call here like here. Now open this here the database, and to go inside select here the Medicare database and select these tables here the document list details, and then after need to go inside the SQL tabs, and now need to select this here the updates. Now need to remove this here this ID. Need to cut here for this ID here, and we need to paste this here the this value for, and to set here the question mark because we need to passing this here, and need to write down here. Also check here the status is not equal to 2. We need to pass here and to give this now question mark. Now created it's not modify. Let's need to clear this here, and now need to give this here the value as a now. Functions need to put here and update this here the now value. And now this is the set here the question marks. We need to given this here the value brackets value. Need to replace with here the question marks, and to give this here the dynamic value need to put inside the query like here. And this like this here the making here the query. Now need to cut this query. Easy to write here, like we need to put, and we need to set here now one by one. So we need to passing this here the value, and before value passing, so we need to returning this here the this query callback. So we need to return here two parameters we need to return. First one is the error parameters, and second one is the results. So we need to returning this here what operations perform is success or fails. We need to identify for these results variables. And now we need to pass this here the value here. We need to enters, and to write down here the request dot objects. We need to give this here the documents underscore name doc underscore names request dots. We need to pass this here the value of here the both types. Then request dot user types need to comma separators need to pass this here the value, and then afterwards we need to set here the status is, and need to pass this here the is active like here. And then after so need to given this here the this document id need to needs here. Need to pass here this parameters request object dot document list id, and we need to set here the status not equal to 2 means here the not deleted. Then to update this records like this we need to setting here the query. Now need to write down here the if conditions. We need to check here the if gets here errors inside the get here the value means here the error generated this query. Need to write down here the helper dot throw HTML errors. We need to write down here the errors objects, and to returning also this object. That's why I need to pass this here the response objects, and terminate this here the lines. I need to return this here. Now here not gets any errors, and then to check here the result affected throw more than 0. Else parts need to write down here, and to set this here the response.jsons like here, and we need to set here the status, set here 0, set here the message, and we need to write down here the message as is equal to give this here the document update 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 fail like here. Again so need to copy here, I need to paste this here, and to give this here the response as updated successfully. Need to return this here the message like here, and need to save here, and to document list edit API we need to done this here. And for this API now we need to create here the deletes API. We need to create here not create here the hard deletes. We need to creating here the soft deletes. We need to use this here the flags inside the status. Need to set this here the to first of all we need to write down here the db dot query. Need to like this, and then after we need to set here the update query. Again so we need to copy this query, need this data, and we need to paste here. And now we need to remove this here all things no needs. Now need to clean here, and to pass this here the two need to set here remove here the end conditions, need to no needs because already delete, then again need to delete, and to get this here the success message need to return this here like here. And we need to set here the parameters and return callbacks query results, errors and results need to returning this here for this value like here, set these functions. Now set here the two and need to pass this here the request dot document list id need to pass here, and again so need to copy this all value need to here, and we need to paste this here, and now need to delete it successfully, and delete fail, like we need to write down here and save this here. And this query are the done, and tomorrow need to making this here the registers normal users to how to convert into the doctor users as the medical shops and hospitals need to give this here the request after the normal user registered, so need to making here the upgradings or accounts and to register as a doctors and medical shops need to creating here the api for the registers doctors medical shops and hospital needed documents with need to creating one api need to develop here tomorrow. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.